How's that, Darren? I bet you're cold. Huh? Wanna go in? Yeah? Wanna go in? Wanna go in? Alright guys, heading into work today. Just watched James Freddy's video. Anybody about to paint a car should watch that video. James Freddy's on YouTube. Covers a lot of, I guess somebody he was watching just made some, had a tough time with their first paint job on an overall, and he covered some of his thoughts on what went wrong on that. It was pretty good. And speaking of shop disasters, I was trying to think of one of my worst blunders. I'm thinking it was, let's see, we did back when we were doing the D-Lams for GM. It was like a late 80s style Chevy pickup, crew cab, long bed dually, the big fenders, everything. And it came to me in bare steel, all sanded down, because all the paint was peeling off of it, and it was two-tone. And I masked it out. I followed the little edges that I could see from the inside jams, and I masked out the two-tone areas, painted the whole thing. A lot of material, a lot of time, a lot of masking. I did it backwards. Instead of dark blue with light blue down the side, it was light blue with dark blue down the side. Thankfully, the customer liked it better than what it was, so I didn't have to sand the whole thing down and start over again. That would have been, it still was a blunder, but it could have been a lot worse, I guess. And yeah, there's many more. I can't think of them all right now. The early years of painting, it was just a constant struggle, learning how to fix the mistakes. I still make those mistakes today, but I know how to fix them. That's what makes it easier. And alright, we'll see what else I can get into today. Hey guys, alright, it's noontime now, and I've been thinking more about I can't think of your name right now that had the problems. I guess you're over in England. This is probably something that everybody should consider before they're taking on an overall paint job. You know, start with some small stuff first. But right off the bat, you got to have a nice clean area. Good lighting, very important. Temperature. You really don't want to be much under 60 degrees, at a minimum 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's see. Airflow, you got to have some kind of airflow. If you're spraying at home and you don't have good airflow, you're going to have a lot of explosive fog hanging out. And one little ignition source, the worse it gets, you could have a big problem there. You really want some airflow. And when your whole area is full of fog, you don't have oxygen in there. And unless you have an air-fed respirator that you're breathing out of, that's a problem. As far as personal protection, paint suit to keep the stuff off your skin. At a minimum, as long as you get enough oxygen in the room, a charcoal mask, a fresh one, because they lose their punch after about 40 hours of use. And just protect yourself the best you can. Those are pretty important right off the top. And then equipment, you need a good air compressor. You need something that'll keep up with your spray gun. The one I have at my house that I've used, it slows down after a panel. You got to kind of let it build back up again. So pretty much I'm set up to do something about the size of a panel. I have done bigger stuff, and you can get by it just changing your spray technique as your pressure's dropping a little. But it's all about controlling your spray environment. You can invest thousands in it and still have paint problems. The setup I have at work, I still have paint problems, but without all that stuff, you got a lot of paint problems. But you can do it. There's guys that do it. Let's see. Yeah, and your air compressor, once you get that, that's not the end of it. That air comes through those lines hot, and as it cools down, it creates moisture. You don't want moisture blowing on your paint job. That'll cause you problems. If it's an oil compressor, some of them are oilless, like the one I have. You need an inline filter. You don't want oil mixing in because you're going to have big fisheye problems. you know, so some kind of a dryer. There's a few guys on there that have done videos on their compressor setups. Also, you should watch guys like the Rick Fix or Greg M. Porter, what they went through with their projects. They a learning curve as they went. Let's see, I covered airflow. Spray gun, tons of info on spray guns. You got siphon feeds, gravity feeds, HVLP, on and on it goes. HVLP is pretty much mandatory in a lot of body shops. You don't have to use it at home, but you get good transfer efficiency with those. But they take a lot of air. It's high volume, low pressure, so you're moving a lot of air. And even the good spray guns, you got like Cytojet, they make the HVLPs, and they also make the regular, like the RP guns, which do a great job. Now those are really expensive guns. You can get real cheap guns, one-time use, and throw it away. This guy's using guns from Harbor Freight, having good luck with them. There's a lot of intermediate guns. It's what you're comfortable with. It's really hard. I haven't tried a lot of those. Let's see. So there's a ton of research you can do on a spray gun alone, and but if you have, I probably wouldn't suggest an HVLP if you don't have a lot of good air pressure or flow capability. Let's see, gun tip size, and that's all depending on what you're spraying and the product. You got to research your products. Again, there's cheap products, expensive products, a lot of research. Depends on what you're trying to do. There's some guys that give you good advice on YouTube about that. But yeah, to develop a good gun technique and all of that, I'd start, do a fender, practice blending, different techniques. As far as paint problems like I've had, like there's nothing worse than dealing with a really tough silver metallic, spending your time getting it to lay out. You clear coat it, you come back in the booth, there's a giant bug sealed right into the clear. You can pull most of it out, but the legs are still stuck under, or a moth. Those are worse. They leave some kind, they have like a powder on them that if it's a light color, you're looking at a repaint every time. And that's in a top line down-dress spray booth, so it's just, you never know. I actually went to a class on it. Hundreds of things that can ruin your paint job. You got to be in control of all of them. And there's just any one of them can burn you. But let's see, so that spray environment, it's endless, it's a constant battle. And the materials, I covered that, a lot of research on that. It really depends on what type of job you're doing. Low quality, high quality, older car, something you want to keep forever. Is it just a junk car, Really depends on how you're going to attack it. Plan ahead, Oh, there's so much more. I think I covered a lot of it. This is just a very quick overview. You can get into, there's whole classes and courses about this stuff. But I think that's a lot of it. But do your research, start small, so you know kind of what your environment's capable of providing you with a quality job. And I could go on and on, but I got to get back to work. This is a crazy day, and good luck with everything. I don't want to discourage anybody. If you have a will to do this, it's pretty rewarding knowing that you've done something like that yourself. But painting's not a cut and dry thing. There's just some of it, a certain degree of it, is just crossing your fingers. It's not like the compressor plug I installed. That's basic electric theory. It's you know what your overcurrent protection has to be, what your wire size has to be, and that's it. You install it. Painting's different. It's just not an exact science. A lot of it is skill, technique, and experience, and a lot can go wrong real quick, as some of you guys know. All right, back to work. Oh yeah, and VW Darren, I didn't know you were sending me this stuff too. Thank you very much. All the tech stuff on the Matrix paint system. Yeah, I think I might look into their House of Colors style custom paint chipbook for some ideas on my kid's car there. That might be a way to go here. Thank you very much, Darren.